Hello and welcome, one and all, to the Jesse Drunk Show, episode 3. Thanks for coming. I got some stuff I got to talk about. I got this new Yeti mic, which is super cool. It's just over here, but this is what it actually is. Yeti Blackout. There's 3 different types, and this is the most expensive one. I don't know. I went all out, but the bullet fucking went for it, dude, because I've been telling myself to buy this mic ever since the start of the pandemic, and honestly, I've been using the AverMedia, which is the webcam, which also doubles as a mic. Quality of the audio is really bad. I was even lowering the dB through OBS by 13, and it was still just sounded like crap. I might use it for singing as well, and it's got a lot of options. You can mess with the gain, you can mess with the dynamics, and as well as you can mute it. There's a mute button, volume, and obviously you can play in your headphones and do it, which some of those options are given with the other ones, but I am really happy with it, and hopefully it sounds better. I think so. Super stoked on that. On the Monday, I worked from Monday to Friday, but I felt miserable, as I usually do on Mondays if I have to work. Nothing really happened, except for I worked with 3 of my coworkers at the same site for all day, which is not usually what happens. I'm usually alone or with one other person. But not much happened, except for this one conversation we had, which stuck out, which I wanted to mention. So basically, we went out for lunch to this deli, and we were talking about what we got for lunch or whatever, and I said I got the falafel because everything else had feta, and basically Mike was jokingly, how can you not eat cheese? And the only thing I said basically was because there are other options. He responded with, or are you talking about Daiya cheese? Because that doesn't taste anything like it, and I was actually really disappointed when I ate it. And I was just okay, whatever. It's kind of shitty because I thought about it afterwards, once the conversation was already gone. Maybe I built up the courage to actually just say all the reasons why. Because that reason I gave him was not why I don't eat cheese. There's actually 4 reasons I don't eat cheese. And I don't know, the alternative is just it's okay. For me, cheese was always ever okay. It's not like I would die for cheese. And I'll explain why. Some people would. So, reason number 1, I don't eat cheese. I'm not a baby. I'm not a cow. I'm especially not a baby cow. Cheese comes from milk, and basically the mother goes through hell, has her baby taken away from her, and is basically enslaved to just produce milk over and over again until she's ready to be slaughtered. Reason number 2, it doesn't agree with me and my guts. It's actually really harsh on your system to eat cheese and milk products. It's in many things, probably more things than you even realize. Reason number 3, the thing is people are actually addicted due to the fact that there is casein or casomorphins, which is an opioid molecule that attaches to the same receptors as heroin and other narcotics. This is because the baby cow will come back to the cow's teat for their boob juice. So basically, people are addicted to these, and the milk industry loves that aspect of it. Number 4, I kind of explained this in number 1, but this is the worst reason. The milk industry artificially inseminates female cows, which basically, they do this over and over again and take away the children, as I said, for the males to be killed straight away as veal, and the females are raised to do the same process and torture that their mothers went through. So yeah, those are the reasons. And the reasons why I mentioned this is because I dipped out on that opportunity to educate 3 of my coworkers. I had the opportunity, I missed it, and I felt really bad. Therefore, I'm taking this opportunity to say, if anybody else is watching this and wants to educate themselves about that, it's one step at a time. It's one person at a time with this movement. I talked about Seaspiracy a couple episodes ago, which, if you haven't seen, I really suggest you do see, because it was mind-boggling. Cowspiracy is another documentary made by the same people, by Kip Anderson. I actually haven't watched it. I know everything I need to know about the dairy and meat industry, which are intertwined and connected. Eventually I'll watch it, but I know it's going to be, upsetting, as it usually is. It's just ammunition for when people ask me questions or they try to argue with me. I'm able to hit them with straight facts about how it's not good for anybody, especially I've watched What the Health, and I really suggest with this one as well. This is actually about a guy going around talking to organizations, like such as like the Cancer Organization or the Diabetes Organization, who are actually sponsored by these industries that give people cancer and diabetes. Processed meats, dairy, it all is linked to heart disease. Because the only place you'll ever find cholesterol is in meat products. And what does cholesterol do? It gives you heart disease, strokes, which is the #1 killer of human beings. So what does that say? Is it not enough to love the animals and just leave them alone and let them live their lives happy, put them in animal sanctuaries and eventually just like not breathe them into existence so their numbers can just go back to a healthy number so they don't have to roam the earth or take over the land or whatever argument you want to say? There's the fact of your health. So if you don't want to do it for them, do it for you. Honestly, if you got some time on your hands, I honestly really suggest Cowspiracy, probably Seaspiracy, What the Health, Game Changers. The Social Dilemma is great too. I mean, that is a whole nother addiction. Really eye-opening about social media and how addicted people are, and how it's ruining the way we socialize and the way we think about. It's happening too fast for us to keep up with it, especially if you're raised with it, which luckily I wasn't. I mean, for the most part, I was a teenager. I couldn't imagine just like having it in my life like the entire time. It's got to be. We got to really mess with your head. Another documentary shows like footage, unfortunately, so I do warn you, but it's actually on YouTube. It's actually narrated by Joaquin Phoenix, who is an animal rights activist as well. Dominion. This is the documentary right here. So it's got like drones, hidden foot, handheld cameras to expose the dark underbelly of modern animal agriculture. You're basically telling these people, I want more. It's supply and demand. That's all it is. So the less and less we do it, the less and less it will happen. Watch this, so you know where your meat's coming from. So yeah, that's all. That's my whole spiel on that. I'm gonna move on. Tuesday, I bought a new guitar. I bought that guitar. It's right over there as well. But it's an Ola England solar guitar. I thought this was just his signature series, but I actually just found out that he owns solar guitars. Good for him, man. I ended up finding this on Facebook Marketplace. I ended up buying it for quite a bit cheaper than the price it originally is at. So it's a beast of a guitar. I have it right here. I was like literally saying last week that I wanted to get a 7-string guitar. If you don't know what Evertune is, it's a great system. It's a heavy system to get your strings to not go out of tune. And also, if you do set it up properly and you want certain strings to like not bend or not go out of tune when you do possibly bend it, which is what I kind of like doing. I kind of like giving it a little like... So you can actually set it up where you're able to bend it, but you can actually make it so these saddles will, if you give it a like tension, it'll actually release the tension. So even if you do bend a string, if you're playing like rhythm guitar and you just want to be tight, locked in key, you can set it up like that. So great guitar. Obviously a lot of getting used to because of this extra string, which I actually tuned to a drop A, I guess. But it sounds amazing. So check it out. They also, the humbuckers, so that's for the other one, which is now this one. But as you can hear, it's a little buzzy now. You get a noise get on there and it'll be fine, but give a little humbucker sound. Humbucker off. On. Honestly, I'm really stoked about my guitar collection now. So yeah, guitar of the week. This. It's got like the classic, like, kind of like Les Paul Epiphone body shape, which is nice. It's like what I used to have like growing up. I don't have it anymore, so I destroyed it accidentally. But yeah, it had the same shape, sunburst, classic like Jimmy Page sort of like esque. But obviously this looks like metal as fuck. All the specs are down here. Some of them don't mean anything to me. As long as it frickin' works and sounds like a beast, I'm good to go. But I mean, I kind of like the fact, cause like this is like the most like metally shaped guitar you'll find, like that one. So I kind of like this is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. And gents. So yeah, I want to point out too that Ola, he also has a Sunday show. It's called Sunday with Ola. So yeah. So there he is. His setup is way better than mine, but I was kind of inspired to do the Sunday show because of him. Also, just to keep my mental health in check. Yeah, go check out his YouTube channel as well. That's it for Tuesday. I'm gonna go put this down. So on Wednesday, I actually I edited episode 2. Probably knocked off another 5 minutes of my ums and likes. Got rid of those. I do that a lot. I put it out today. I really wanted to do these shows where I would just do it all in one go and not have to edit it and just put it out and, you know, move on with my day and move on with my life. But it ended up not being that way. You know, I should edit them, which takes a long time, but you know what? Gotta do what you gotta do. And also, by doing that and by thinking that I could just do the whole thing in one go, I was fumbling on my words and kind of acting like a spaz. So, you know, I'm figuring it out, working out the kinks. So also on Wednesday, I was working and I decided to listen to a band that I haven't listened to in a while. It just came up on my homepage and I was like, you know what? Ended up listening to their entire discography and I'm naming them Band of the Week. And you probably know them. System of a Down, of course. Well, my favorite album by them is Mesmerize. It's probably everybody's favorite album, except for maybe probably Toxicity, which is my second favorite album, probably. But yeah, I ended up listening to their entire discography, which is pretty amazing. I actually checked out their 2 new songs, which I didn't know they even put out. They were okay. I feel like they just like put them out just because the fans wanted to, not like they really wanted to. Like if I was in System of a Down, I would probably kick out the drummer and then just try to get the fans what they want. I'm sure they don't really do as many drugs as they used to, but yeah, which makes sense. But those songs were great. Honestly, good for them for doing that. Weird enough, they didn't kick the drummer out, but if you didn't hear, and the reason why I'm shit-talking the drummer is because his political views are actually the complete opposite of the rest of the band's, which is really strange because a lot of their songs are, you know, fight the power. I actually looked up an article to explain my point because there are a lot of articles and I kept seeing a lot of quotes from the drummer from like Loudwire of him like saying really shitty things and like pro-Trump and stuff like that. So yeah, Serj Tankian actually admitted that it's frustrating being politically opposite to the drummer John Dorman. So there's that whole thing. Jameson has clothes now. Those are actually pretty dope. I'm not gonna buy them. Those ads usually don't work for me, and it probably won't work this time either. I'm just thinking, hey, that's kind of cool. But anyways, so go check out Mesmerize by System of a Down if you haven't already. Well, maybe go check it out again. Thursday. This is pretty important. What happened Thursday? I actually worked with Adam. He told me that he had a nickel allergy, and that's why he had some health complications for months on end. And they could not figure out what it was. It was from a nickel allergy from his belt buckle that actually eventually gave him a staph infection, which gave him a lot of problems. So it's just the little things you don't think of, right? Because usually it's like the food you eat or the things you drink or the lack of exercise, or could be like mold that's growing in your place. Like I spilt a beer over here like a few months ago. I didn't realize that how much I spilt, and like it ended up getting like really moldy on this like fabric thing over here that I had laying on the ground. Finally cleaning the place up and thinking, wow, this is pretty gross. We're probably breathing this in like, you know, for quite a while. Yeah, you know, clean your place. Think, you know, what are you doing every day? What could be the problem bringing you these other issues? Like maybe start like logging down like what you eat, what you drink, what you do every day, or what you don't do every day. He now wears a wood belt buckle. So yeah, just think outside the box when it comes to that sort of thing. You could just not be feeling right. And I just want to show you this quote from Jim Carrey that just reminded me of it. He says, "I believe depression is legitimate, but I also believe that if you don't exercise, eat nutritious food, get sunlight, get enough sleep, consume positive material, surround yourself with support, then you aren't giving yourself a fighting chance." I actually think of that quote very often. I try to do these things. Treat yourself. Your body is your temple. I've heard all this before, but yeah, take care of yourselves. Anyways, Friday Friday, I discovered Thin Lizzy's last album because it just came on the radio when I was working. This song that came on was like super heavy, and you know I've listened to Thin Lizzy before, but of course I've only ever heard like The Boys Are Back in Town, Whiskey in a Jar, all their hits basically. Didn't really give them much of a chance. I don't know why. It's just one of those bands that I like, but I just never really listened to. Kept forgetting about. Their last album they put out was their 1983 album, Thunder and Lightning. So I think we heard this one. And I was like, this just sounds like really heavy for Thin Lizzy. Yeah, I was actually pretty stoked on it. And it's just shred-tastic. There's a lot of things to check out. So you know what? Maybe Thin Lizzy will be Artist of the Week next week. You know, I got a lot to check out, so we'll see what happens. Just throwing it out there. And then after I got off work, I was so happy that the week was over. The weekend was upon me. And also, Medina finished her mental health and addictions course, which I'm really proud of her for doing. So I ended up taking her out to a patio dinner down the street. Ate some vegan food, and which we weren't quite sure if they were going to have that, but of course every restaurant has that option. You can always say, hey, don't put that thing on there, or replace it with this. Every restaurant's going to obviously accommodate you in that way. It's like, I'm sure there's certain bars that like literally do not have anything. Saturday, I watched the latest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, which, let's just say, episode 5, it was better than the other episodes. Like, a lot of character development, a lot of setup for the new Captain America, John Walker, to, you know, become the villain. The training montage was hilarious. I wanted to show, but the little training montage to the end credits song was actually pretty cheesy, and that's okay. I like my cheese. I'm gonna go to my neighbor's house and go work on their garden. Maybe next week will be more exciting. I appreciate you tuning in to episode 3 of the Jesse Junk Show. Until next time, until next week, have a good week and take care of yourselves. Bye.